honor and a privilege to be able to come into the space that you live in, the place that you live in, to be able to share with you the word of the Lord, whereby you will be able to grow and become everything that God would have you to be. And for that, I thank you. So thank you, whether you are on Facebook. Thank you if you are on the website. Thank you if you are on YouTube. And so we are glad that you are here with us. And as you come on board, we ask that you would share. That you would share this moment, that you would share with those that are in your sphere of relationships, that you would share this learning moment with those that you love and those that you consider to be near and dear to your heart. So, again, it's coming up, and it won't be very long before we will be live and in color. And we are so thankful to God. Again, over and over again. You know, you just can't say thank you enough to the people of God who have decided that they want to be with us in this learning experience. And so I'm doing what I need to do, excuse me, to make sure that I can see the pages that I need to see. And I'm grateful. Let me take a look here, see what I got up. There it is. And so, again, thankful and grateful for each and every one of you. And I'm just aligning my pages so that I can see you and you can see me. And that way we can dialogue virtually. I don't see my page coming up just yet. I think this happened before. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I know I need to do. And that is to bring the page up so that you will be able to share with us. For whatever reason, sometimes my page just doesn't want to cooperate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. I've got to check that out. Maybe I've been put on punishment, and that's the reason why it's not coming up and not running. You know, I'm that kind of happens to me sometimes. I just kind of get in trouble for that, and I'm trying to see if I can move this to another page, but it won't let me. So I'm going to try one other thing to see if this will work, and prayerfully it will be able to do what I need it to do, and then we will go from there. So give me just a moment. I'll be able to welcome you and to tell you thank you so much for being a part of our learning experience on today. And so, again, just thank you for your patience. Thank you for, yep, there we go. It should be on my page now. Again, grateful for all of you that are here with us. I know I'm talking and looking down, and I'm not really looking at you, but give me just a moment. And I still have to figure out why it doesn't like my page, though my page is now up and running. And so let me take a look at this real quick, and then once I do this, I'll be able to say hello, 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 hello. I'll get caught up on the people that I missed and go from there. There we go now. All right. Bless his holy name for such an awesome crowd of witnesses that are here with us on today. Minister Sarah, Lisa, Juanita, Carletta, thank you so much. Cecile, glad that you are here with us. We bless the Lord for you. Casper, Carolyn, Valerie, Sharon, Minister Faye, thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, Jeanette, for letting me know that all is working well. Timothy, thank you. Thank you. Elder Carter, bless you for being here with us. Barbara, thank you so much. Doe, we're just glad that you be here with us. And I think what it's doing is it's just duplicating the same thing on the same page. So I'm just not going to worry about that just right now. I'm just going to press toward the mark. If that's what it's doing, then I can alleviate one page because I know this page isn't working properly. Veronica, Kathy, thank you so much for being here with us on this day, this wonderful day. And I hate to say this, but it looks like it's also not running. Up there it is. It's running on OBSC's page now. So we are grateful to God for each and every one of you. Okay. Elder Carter, you are so welcome. It was a privilege. It was my honor to be able to be there with you. And I pray that that the action group was blessed and challenged by my presentation. And again, thank you again for your love and your kindness that you have shown. Robin, I see you as you are coming on board. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do for just a second is I'm just going to switch out a page. And then that way I don't have to really worry about something else. I'm just going to pull this other page up in the place of my page, seeing that my page is not running properly. I got a feeling why, but you know that's how that is. And so I just want to get it going here because I don't want to waste your time. And so again, thank you so much, each and every one of you, for allowing me to be in this moment, to be in this time and in this space to share with you on today. Okay, seeing that everything I see on one page, we're just going to worry about that one page and press on. Okay, Lisa, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Christy, bless your heart. Janet, thank you so much for being here. Debbie, Thea, Nisi, thank you. Thank you. Myrna, so glad that you are here with us on this evening. Please share, please share, please share. You can also share on YouTube. You can share and we'll be able to go from there. And then what I can do is I can let this one page go. And because I've got it running on there. Walina, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here with us. And I'm going to have to check to find out why Boxcast doesn't like my page. Now that's interesting. Very interesting. But we're glad that you are here. Okay. I need to ask a question, and I'm going to date myself by doing so. Gaither, bless you for being here. Because I think it's important for us to examine the power of knowing God. We need to understand it. Do you remember, and I know some of you may not really be willing to own up to this, but do you remember when it cost an arm and a leg to use your cell phone? Do you remember when you had a minuscule number of minutes, and then after that, after you ran over those minutes, it would cost you astronomically to be able to continue to have conversations with people? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate all of you that are sharing on tonight. And wasn't it funny that, hey, Herma, how are you? Wasn't it amazing that in the midst of that new technology, in the midst of all of things that were coming out. Hey, Sherry, how are you? Good evening to you. there were people, hey Denise, that we were willing to sacrifice whatever it cost in order for us to stay in touch with them. It was an amazing time. That's when didn't have many towers and all of that other stuff. We didn't have the technology. Pat, bless you for being here. We didn't have all of that stuff, and so there were overwhelming limitations upon the operation of those cell phones at the time. And the reason I bring this up is because of the limitations, because of what's not actually wasn't available at that time. Hey, Lady Harrison, how are you? You had to select, okay? You had to, yeah, you remember, don't you, Christy? See, I love it. I knew somebody else understood. Weekends were free, and at night after a certain time, you could do that. And so, thank you, Christy, for I see the rest of you. You owning up to it now, okay? And if we needed to talk to someone during the day, okay, that's right, Jaleesa, because you too young, you don't know anything about, but your mom remembers that, and your grandparents remember that as well. Those persons had to be special. Those persons had to be significant to you. Those persons had to have had a very special place in your heart in order for you to risk running over. Because running your minutes over was like maddening at that particular time. I don't want to talk about the minutes. I don't want to talk about the cost. I want to talk about why was that person so important and so significant in your life that you were willing to risk running those minutes over because of what they meant to you. Lord have mercy. I wish, think about this for just a moment. What was it that motivated you? What was it about that person that made you feel significant or important or special, or just had a very special place in your heart that you said, you know what, I just got to talk to, because at that particular time, the landlines were also overwhelmingly expensive. And so because of limited technology and all of the rest of that, it was still in its developmental stages. But what caused us to sacrifice? What caused us to say, I got about 10 minutes left and I'm going to get on here and I'm going to call them. I'm going to see how they're doing. Just want to check up with them. And 10 minutes turned into 20. Okay? But there had to be something about them. It had to be something about the relationship that you had with them that would cause you to risk running over because they were just that significant. Y'all remember the circle, okay? Catch where I'm coming from. Catch what I'm saying, okay? Where is God in the midst of your sacrifice? Where is God? Remember, I shared with you a passage of scripture on last week out of Jeremiah chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. It says, thus says the Lord, let not a wise man boast of his wisdom, and let not the mighty man boast of his might. Let not the rich man boast of his riches, but let him who boast of this, that he understands and knows me. Oh, can I ask a question? And I know there's a delay. There's a 2-minute delay that's there. Can I ask a question? What is your motivation for knowing God? And I pray in your answer, Minister Faye, it's not stuff and things. Ooh, yeah, I set it up. Yeah, I did. I set it up. Because a lot of times we are just like the disciples that I am teaching in the snapshot. We are hanging out with Jesus because of the benefits. We are hanging out with the Lord because of what he provides. But the question that I really need to an answer to is, why do you follow the Lord? Why do you love him? What is it about him that is so different from everybody else? And I think this is important for us to see. And then what did it take to get you to that point? Okay. Jemison, what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get you to see and what I'm trying to get you to grasp is what drew you to him? What draws you to him? I see what you're saying. Okay. What is it? What is it that motivated you to not only come to him but want to know him? Because there's a lot of people who know him. I mean, have come to him, but they don't know him. Okay. All right. Yeah. They don't really know him. They know the things in the church. They know this, that, or the other, but they really don't know him. And the reason they don't know him is because the only time they really have any significant conversation with him is when they're in trouble. I want us to think about this. Elder James, bless you for being here. I want us to think about this. I want us to focus on this because I think this is overwhelmingly important for us to grasp, for us to wrap our minds around, for us to recognize and see. Because if the only thing Jesus is a slot machine, then you're missing the point. If all he is the bill payer, then you're missing the point. I see what y'all are saying. Why do I follow the Lord? Why do I follow him? No, yes, I don't want to go to hell. That's number one. Okay, no, I don't want to go to hell. But in the midst of that, what causes me? What I see what you're saying, because he doesn't just. I understand what you're saying, but what causes me to draw close to him? There has to be an impetus. There has to be a motivation. There has to be something between you and him. Okay, Victor and Trinette, thank you for being here. That moves you and motivates you. And here's the thing. How will you know that you are motivated? You will know you're motivated outside of the worship experience. Lord, have mercy. Because you can get supercharged in church. You can get super excited in church. You can get overwhelmed in church. You can become ecstatic in church. But church only lasts for so long. What causes you to be in love with him? Because he loves you. Okay, See, I want us to catch something that I think is overwhelmingly important. Because if all you do is love him because he paid bills, he helped you raise children, you've missed the point. You've missed the point completely. I'm waiting on some of y'all. I want y'all to tell me, why do you love him? Why do you love him? I'm gonna just make up why do you love him? He's your direction. I hear you. In spite of your faults, he continues to love you. Yes. Why? Why do you love him? Why? What motivates you to love him? Because we ain't always the most lovable people on the planet, and he still loves us. So shouldn't that be something that causes us to love him? Now, when you say he knows me, he knows everything about you. He knows the good, the bad, the up, the down, the in, the out. He knows every bit of that. Okay? And in the midst of this, what you have to recognize, what you have to understand, and what you have to grasp, I'm getting ready to do something right here. So I can take care of this. And I just did something I didn't want to do, but I'm going to go back to where I was so that I can handle this. Okay? And so in the midst of this, and that's the reason why I'm asking this question, because I think it's pertinent. I think it's important. I think it's I see y'all as y'all are coming up with your answers. I see you. Okay. And so in the midst of this, Can I talk to you for just a second? Because I want to deal with something, Robin. I want to look at something, Minister Sarah, Timothy. I want to look at something that I think is significant. And, that's a good one. He's always there for me. Have you ever been disappointed by people, but God has never disappointed you? There's a word that I'm going to have us look at. And I think this is important for us to get. I think this is necessary for us to grasp and for us to understand. When we talk about intimacy, and I want to make sure that I am crystal clear and how I deliver this, because I think this is important, Sylvia Scott. I think it's important, Sharon, for us to get into understand. When we talk about intimacy, and I'm going to break this down as best I can, is more than sex. And the problem with the age that we live in right now, it is strictly sexually motivated. Everything in this age, you can't even watch television without there being some little, hey Linda, how you doing? With some level of stupid sexual explicitness that takes place. Rhonda, bless you for being here. Thank you. And so when the Bible in Genesis 4:1 says, and Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. When the Bible talks about people knowing each other in this biblical sense, it is referring to physical intimacy at its greatest level. This ushers in the ability of both to know and to be known, which involves much more than just physical contact. Daryl Johnson, bless you for being here, my friend. But what actually happens is there is and I've got this guy here that I'm getting ready to report. And I'm gonna get rid of him because he's in here and he doesn't need to be here. Okay, I just got rid of him. He seems to be tapping into people as I'm talking, so he's gone now. And so in the midst of this, that's an amazing thing how people try to tap into the word of God with some kind of scam or some kind of shiesty foolishness. That ain't nobody but the enemy. Okay, this must be getting ready to be something because the enemy is shown enough in this. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. In the Hebrew, when you look at Genesis 4:1, the word yada, Y-A-D-A, is the same word that is used to describe when Adam and Eve's eyes were open and they knew that they were naked. In Genesis 4:1, Adam knew Eve, and this is an important thing, and she conceived and bore a son. What you have to understand here is that before there was any sexual interaction, there was an attraction. And the attraction, oh God, the attraction caused the recipients of participation to want the best for each other. Now, I know in the age we live in, that is taboo, that don't exist. Usually in situations where a man approaches a woman or nowadays a woman approaches a man and all of these things take place and usually the intent is for them to get to know each other, and by getting to know each other you develop the relationship with each other. When you develop the relationship with each other, it should move into something more permanent like marriage, but we don't live in an age like that now because people are only concerned about getting and not giving. And here's the thing that you've got to understand when it comes down to your relationship with God, intimacy is not about what you get, it's about what you give. And in the midst of, I got rid of him. I got rid of him. There's always somebody. And in the midst of this, that's where a true walk with God is missing. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble, Kathy. I'm going to get in trouble for this because I need us to look at this word yada, Y-A-D-A. If all God is to me is someone who gives to me, I don't know him. Okay? If all God is a rescuer, a deliverer, and I'm not negating any of these things because they're true, but if that's all if the only time you talk to God is when you need something or you want something from him, hear what I'm saying. You've got to recognize that you are missing, hey Nancy, out on the most intimate significance that could, here he is again. Lord have mercy. I done already reported him, and so I'm going to have to do something else here. What kind of looks like I might have to do. Okay, give me a second. That takes care of that. Snuck in another way. Oh my God. Okay. Hey, LMA, Cora, Mika, how y'all doing? And so here's what you have to know. When in Genesis chapter 3, verse 7, when they partook of the fruit, they knew, yada, that they were naked because now their eyes were open and they understood the difference in verse 22 between good and evil. The word yada is not a word referring to body parts or physical activity. In all definitions, the word yada, which occurs more than 1,000 times in the Old Testament, has a myriad of meanings. Okay, I'm glad y'all report him. I blocked him. Yeah, I blocked him. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. Look at this. When I'm intimate with him, with God, yada means to know or learn to know. Ooh, that's some powerful stuff right there. That's number one. I do know him to a certain extent, but I need to know him even more. Woo! Well, now let me ask this question. How do you know him? You know him from salvation in saving you. Okay, there we go. So, in the midst of this, I'm back. In the midst of this, yeah, the devil is a liar. That's right. He is a liar and the father of lies. He is doing everything he can to make sure that I don't get this lesson out. But it's okay, Minister Michael Williams. And so, to be made known or revealed, he reveals to me my significance, because my significance is not predicated upon my perception, but predicated upon what he says. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna see if you get this. I'm gonna see if you comprehend this. I want to see if you can wrap your mind around this, because as if I understand this correctly, I think it's still running perfectly on YouTube. It's just Facebook that I'm having trouble with. Okay, and so when a gentleman says to you, "You're beautiful," even though you may have self-esteem issues, even though you may have misnomers about your appearance, when that gentleman says, "Sweetheart, you are beautiful," does it not change your attitude, your disposition, or how you feel about yourself? Help me, Holy Ghost. Think about this. Think about when someone admires you and says you are this, you are that, you are the other. Does it not change how you carry yourself? Because in many instances, your perception of yourself has been tainted by the enemy, who has planted a seed of discord in your life that you have watered and cultivated. But God says, because I'm intimate with you, because I'm significant with you, I don't care what you say about what I look like in the mirror. Somebody just told me that I'm wonderful. God says in his word, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. He has said, I'm the head and not the tail. He has let it be known in no uncertain terms that I was worthy of being redeemed. Okay? And so in the midst of this, Yada says it also causes someone to know. What does that mean? To come into the knowledge of the truth, because only truth will create freedom. Okay? And Yada says, my intimacy with God is not based on experience. Lord have mercy. Now, think about this. My experiences with God help to develop my faith, but those experiences have tainted moments in them. And so what can happen is, if I am pending all I am upon my experiences, then I'm bringing a shortfall into what it means to be intimate with God. Okay? When yada is used in connection with relationships, it indicates plummeting into a different level of depth in the relationship with somebody, because intimacy is more powerful than just sex. Intimacy is a giving, sex is a getting. God says, I don't want you to just think about me as somebody you can get something from. I want you to think about me as the person who has something to give. And ready for this? You have something to offer as well. Oh, how many times have you heard people talk about how worthless you are, and how no good you are, and how you'll never be, and you'll never accomplish, and you'll never go anywhere, and you'll never rise to the occasion? And God says, Lord have mercy. Yada, because I'm yada with God, because I'm intimate with him, he says in no uncertain terms that no matter what anybody else has said about me, you still love me. You still think I'm beautiful. You still think I'm handsome. And can I add a little bit more to it? I'm still worth it. Out of all my wrong, out of all my madness, anybody Any, anybody on YouTube catching what I'm saying? I don't care what anybody else says. I'm still worth it. Why? Because I'm intimate with him. Let me tell you something that intimacy does. It covers a multitude of sin. Intimacy with God tells us something. Okay, I'm gonna talk about something else because I'm about to shout. I'm about to shout. Okay, in Psalm 25 verse 14, you're gonna see the secret of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he will make them know yada his covenant. Woo-hoo-hoo. He will make you know. Now, here's a powerful thing that you have to get. Demons don't run from what you feel. Demons run from what you know. God does not move off of what you feel. He moves off of what you know. I wish I had 5 people. I wish I had 5. I wish I had 5 people. You got to remember something. You got to remember something. If you know the covenant, if you know that God has secured you in the covenant between you and him, it doesn't matter what anybody else says or what anybody else thinks. Okay? Let me go one more passage. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? I know this is a little deep today, but I needed to get this in here because I think this is important, because I believe the reason that the church doesn't have the power that it does is because it is so superficial in its relationship with God that it doesn't understand that God wants you to know him. And the more you know him, the more you want to know him. And the more you want to know him, the more intimate you become with him. I got to get us to get this. I got to get us to get this. I got to get us to get this. In Isaiah chapter 43, verse 10, look at what it says. And this is God talking, Thea. This is God talking. You are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servants whom I have chosen, so that you may know yada, that you might know me and believe me. Now listen, it didn't say believe in me, but believe me. Whew, whew, whew. Lord have mercy. See, to believe in something means you believe it because of what you've seen it do. To believe something means you know what it is, irregardless to what you see. If I know he's a present help, I'm not controlled by what I see. If I know he's my Lord, then I'm not controlled by what I see. If I know he has declared me the head and not the tail, I'm not moved by what I see. Okay? And this is something that you've got to know, because this, Thea, it's time to shout. If there's ever been a time to shout, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's a song out there that says, and he waited on me. That's one of the most powerful songs that has ever been released, because a lot of what I'm teaching and a lot of what I'm dealing with right now, we are all just coming into the knowledge of the truth, because basically all we did was go to church. We knew about Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro and all that other kind of stuff. And we understand it. And nothing, no shade or anything on our past. But now that we're coming into the knowledge of the truth, or the yada of God. I got one more, but I'm scared to give y'all this one. I'm really scared to give y'all this one, because I think this one just might blow your mind. But maybe I just need to do that. Isaiah 45 verse 3. I'm going to read it slow so you can grasp what it says. I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hidden wealth of secret places. Woo! So that you may know yada, that it is I, the Lord, the God of Israel, who calls you by your name. If you know him, he says, I'm going to give you treasure that's hidden in darkness. And then I'm going to give you wealth in secret places that the enemy can't see. Lord, don't make me leap over this desk. He says, because you yada, you know that it is I, the Lord, the God of Israel, who calls you by your name. And you got to catch this if you don't catch anything else. And that's powerful, Veronica. The thing that must be understood is out of the billions of people that exist, he never gets you mixed up with anybody else. He is so explicit. He is so explicit in his covenant with you that everything he says he will do, and it will have your name on it. I'm trying to not really get knee deep in this, because then people be talking about, well, where the money at? See, you don't yada him, you don't know him. To know him is more than money. To know him is more than wealth. To know him is more than getting stuff. To know him means now you hear his heart. Now you hear his voice. Now you're willing to move in the direction that he would have you move in, because now he ain't got to yank you. He ain't got to pull you. He ain't got to beat you down. He ain't got to bring this into your life. He ain't got to bring other stuff into your life, because you'll know who he is. He says, I'm going to do this for you because you yada me. You know me because I know you by your name. Aren't you glad? Aren't you excited over the fact that he knows your name? Aren't you excited that if you know the covenant, the secret treasures of God are being made available to you? And in the midst of this storehouse of treasure is a whole lot more than money, because when you got wisdom, money can't buy wisdom. When you got knowledge, money can't buy knowledge. I wish I had 10 people on here tonight who could recognize what God is actually doing in your life. If you would take the time to spend time with him, to be intimate, to yada, to know him, yada, to know him. Everything that I have given to you explains his relationship to mankind in a very close and intimate manner. Let me tell you how intimate God wants to be with us. He don't want to have to scream. He just needs to whisper, this is what I need you to do. And I need you to do it when I need you to do it. And you don't hesitate. You don't vacillate. You like, okay, Lord, this is what you want me to do. Because guess what? There's a reciprocal relationship that exists between you and the Lord. And this is going to mess you up. This is going to mess you up. But I hope you got your seatbelt on so you can grasp what I'm getting ready to say, because I'm going to tear you up with this one. Listen to me. The more, because when you're intimate with him, you know it's an issue of giving. The more you give to God, the more he gives to you. You know, we sing, we used to sing that song, you can't beat God's giving no matter how you try. The more you give, the more he gives to you. Keep on giving, cause it's really true. You can't beat God's giving no matter how you try. Well, guess what? If you're not giving him, when I talk about giving, yes, money, yes, time, that's important. Talent, resources. When you are giving to God, God gives back to you. And the thing that's so amazing about how God gives back, okay? God gives back way above and beyond. Hey, Larry, way above and beyond what you have given him, because what you give to him is minuscule in comparison to the bountiful blessings that God. I understand where the late Bishop G.E. Patterson got that ministry called Bountiful Blessings, because all you got to do is bless him, and he blesses you bountifully. Okay? This is what you got to remember. This is what you got to know. This is where I'm going to stop at. This is where I'm going to stop at, because I'm about ready to shout. I'm about ready to shout. I'm trying to bring myself down, trying to bring myself back on. When I yada, Y-A-D-A, when I yada, when I know him, when I know him, when I give to him, when I'm willing to sacrifice to him, whatever he is asking me to do, God says, all you got to do is, in this intimacy of relationship, give to me, I'll give to you. Now I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for it. Maybe the reason you're not getting is because you're not giving. And when I talk about giving, let's go beyond money. Let's go into time, talent, resources. Let's go into all of that. Let's go into all of. Did you give your family to him? Did you do it? Did you give him some time? I'm not talking about the time when you begging him for something. I'm talking about, speak to me, Lord. Speak to me, speak to me, speak to me. Because guess what? I want to talk to you. You remember when you were in the dating game, in the dating stage of a relationship, how many times in your mama and daddy's house you got in trouble because they told you to get off the phone? And I know some of us ain't going to be honest about it. They told us to get off the phone, but because we were so deep into the conversation, which was shallow at that particular time, but it was deep at the time we were talking, we couldn't get enough of them. We couldn't get enough of hearing their voice. We couldn't get enough of hearing them laugh. We actually risked a beating, a whooping, for the sake of talking to someone who had our heart. So maybe the reason your stream is dried up, maybe the reason some blessings have not come your way, maybe the reason you are not experiencing the bountiful blessings that God has in store for you is because you have yet to yada him. It's a two-way street. God's not going to place his bountiful blessings into an unappreciative person. So my question to you as I get ready to get off of here, when was the last time you told God, I love you? When was the last time you told God, I appreciate you? When was the last time you told God, you're the best thing that ever happened? When was the last time you told God, you have filled my life so much that I'm in overflow right now? Rhonda, Kathy, Veronica, Carolyn, Cecile, Gaither, Doe, Carletta, Lady Harrison. When was the last time? When was the last time, Thea, that you said, Elder Carter, I'm so in love with you, I don't even know what to do with myself. And the reason I'm in love with you is because your love is inexhaustible. I've never had anybody in my life to love me like you do. And when you begin to tell God just how much you love him, just how much. Listen, I know I said I'm going to get off of here. When your children went above and beyond what you asked them to do, they just shocked you by doing something, cleaning up something, washing dishes, cutting the grass. You didn't even have to tell them to do anything. They just did it. What did it do to you? What did it do for you? And what did it cause you to do? Ah! Oh my God. Because when your child shows appreciation, the parent shows gratitude. I want you to get that. When the child shows appreciation, the parent shows gratitude. Gratitude how? Might give you a little extra money. Might let you go down to the store, get you some candy. Might let you do a little something here. Might let you go to the mall. Go ahead, give you a little extra money so you can buy that outfit that they just got done telling you you can't have, but because that child did something unusual, the parents say, you know what, I just want to reward you. Jesus. Okay, I gotta stop. 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 And so that's all I wanted to say. Next week, when we come together, we're going to deal with this just a tad bit more. I pray that you were blessed. I ask that you would pardon the interruptions, the person that got in here, the streaming that went crazy, and all of that other kind of stuff. The devil is a lie. We still got what God had for us. And I'm telling you right now, let me share this with you. Homegoing celebration for Erica is going to be Saturday. Calling hours 9 to 10. Celebration of Life will be at 10 a.m. on Saturday. If there are any persons who are interested in going to the Ohio Baptist State Convention, Congress of Christian Education is the 11th through the 13th of October. We need to know your intent as soon as possible. The rate is $99 per night, and we are looking so forward to the Lord blessing there. So, just grateful to God for all that He is doing. I am preaching at the Seekers Conference at Mount Calvary. I think it's on the 23rd. It's a Saturday. I'll find out some more information as to whether there's a registration fee for that or not. If there is a registration fee, just don't worry about it. If there isn't, if you want to show up on Saturday to just be there, I'd appreciate it. But if not, don't worry about it. We'll figure something out. Okay? So we're looking so forward to how the Lord is blessing. Again, thank you for your prayers, your concerns. Thank you for being there. I appreciate you. I love you with the love of Jesus Christ. I thank God for each and every one of you. Listen, you have a fabulous evening in the Lord. You rest well. And don't forget, before you go to sleep tonight, make sure you yada God. Tell Him, God, I want to know you tonight. And when I get up in the morning, I want to know you even better. May God bless you. May He keep you, is our prayer.